Michigan mom says 11-year-old son expelled after dismantling classmate's loaded gun.
He didn't want to implicate himself in it, nor did he want to tell on the person that actually brought the firearm.
He was able to disarm and disassemble the gun because of his hunting background. McClurkin says in the moment, her son was scared and thought he was helping the other students around him.
Savitra McClurkin said she's been trying to enroll her son, Sakir Everett, into another school ever since he was abruptly kicked out of Dwight Rich School of the Arts in Lansing back in May. We're just learning about this now. It is September, almost October. I'm upset with everybody, McClurkin said in a phone interview on Monday. I'm not just mad at the district. I'm mad at some of these teachers, administrators, as well as the city because they did not handle this right. I want to read this additional statement from the school that said disciplinary action would not have been warranted for disarming another student. Please know, however, that the safety of our students and staff remain our paramount interest, and decisions will continue to be made in accordance with that principle. I want to add this last part here, and this comes from Black Enterprise by Jocelyn Jovan, because the mother recently attended a school board meeting expressing her frustration with the district because not only was this young man expelled from his school, she is unable to enroll him in any school in the district because they are all keeping in with the policy of protecting their students, and because he handled the firearm, he's not allowed back in the school. So the mother has enrolled him into a non-accredited online school just so that he won't fall apart. She said that he didn't want to implicate himself in it, nor did he want to tell on the person that actually brought the firearm, because he knows firearms aren't supposed to be in school. Currently, there is a GoFundMe. Originally, it had a goal of $5,000 to help this mother continue the education of her son so that he does not fall behind. There, as you see, at $24,000, and it looks like the goal has been raised to $35,000 as they continue to help this young man. And I got a lot of thoughts on this one. The first thing I want to say is my initial reaction was anger at the school district because they were following the letter of the law instead of the intent of the law. There are people whose entire job is to sit down and study the Constitution and laws, right? To give us a definition of this means this. There's individuals whose whole job is to argue why this means this in this situation and this means that in another situation. The individual that reads a law that says murder is wrong would, by the book, go anybody who's ever killed somebody else should be locked up or punished because the law says murder is wrong. However, individuals who apply critical thinking to a law would go, okay, the individual that murders somebody, like we had occur on the train, right? The individual who out of nowhere snapped and killed that young lady should be locked away for the rest of his natural born life. Encounter, though, an individual like a father who sees a grown man or woman attempting to kidnap his young daughter on the street, then acts in accordance and does something that leads to that individual dying. Still murder. However, the mass of us would go, murder is wrong, C, but that individual does not need to be locked away for the rest of his life. That individual barely needs to be punished. He was protecting his daughter. And I say barely, I mean does not need to be punished at all. And that's what I mean about the intent of the law versus the written word of the law. And so when I look at the school district saying this young man does not need to be in classrooms anywhere because he handled a firearm, I go, okay, but he handled the firearm in a way to remove the danger from the situation. Now, was he wrong in not telling an adult immediately? Yes, but this is something that you can work out in counseling. This is something that you can get somebody involved and explain to the child, because he's 11 years old, young man, it was heroic what you did. Thank you for doing the right thing. Next time, make sure you involve an adult next time so that we can also get the young man who brought the gun help and get him removed from the situation. But he's 11 years old. You're asking an 11-year-old to deal with gun violence and in hopes that I too don't get in trouble for having touched the gun or having been near the gun. I feel like at some point adults start applying rules because the law says it and they're afraid of standing up against the law. There are some situations that need to be defended. That young man needs to be defended. You can understand the fear that someone at 11 years old would have when he sees somebody bring a gun into the school. How the hell would you react at 11 years old if somebody brought you a gun? Some of you might say, oh, I'd be running to the teachers immediately. Hooray for you. You were also a brave, courageous individual, but that does not mean that the individual who goes, I'm going to remove the gun from the situation, I'm going to disassemble it, and I think I'm doing what is right, is wrong. And to make it so that now he's going to fall victim to a series of laws that's going to put him even further back. So for me, the fact that the school district isn't working in any way, it seems like, with the mother in trying to help this young man get back into a accredited school to continue on his educational journey when he did something that should be applauded And if there are any criticisms, you can address through counseling or through individuals who are, fighting against gun violence coming into the school and helping kids understand, hey, if you face these situations, this is what you do. That is what the response should be. But to have a school, a group of adults go, no, the answer is he just should be removed from any educational pursuits. He should be removed from any schools. This is, to me, a problem. This is something that needs to be handled with the school district in terms of somebody needs to come in and needs to start removing some heads, because you're not fighting for the betterment of the students. You don't care about the kids. You're caring about the bottom line. If the sole reason you're keeping this kid from learning is, well, he handled a gun and the law says this and I want to protect the school against a lawsuit, you don't need to do anything that has to do with kids. At some point, we got to start having individuals apply critical thinking as an adult, a kid who shouldn't have had to confront the situation to begin with. This is an issue that is on us, that is on our parents' generations, that goes back to the founding of this country and what it meant to have guns in the home and what it meant to be able to access guns. This is on everybody that came before this young man, but now we're putting it on his foot and saying, why didn't you know what to do in this situation? He should not have to confront this situation. Wrong answer. Wrong effing answer. Focused on the wrong thing. The school district should be ashamed of themselves for what they did. So make sure you go and donate to the Help Sakir Everett Continue His Education Fund. That is it. I was your host, JLW. Let me know what your thoughts are on the situation, how you would expect your kid to react in this situation. Who do you think was in the right or the wrong? And do you think that the punishment fit the crime?